Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is the newest installment in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie franchise, once again directed by Jeff Fowler and once again stars Jim Carrey, this time in two roles. And then Ben Schwartz, Idris Elba, James Marsden, they're all back. And this time, Shadow the Hedgehog is wreaking havoc, and Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles have to team up to stop him, but also to form an unlikely alliance with Dr. Robotnik. Okay, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. What did I think of it? Well, before I get into that, I gotta explain my thoughts on the first two films. The first one's fine. You know, it's definitely a lot of fun. It's just that Sonic just spends a bit too much time in the movie stuck in a truck, but they kind of explain that enough, so whatever. But then there's Sonic 2. Sonic 2 was awesome. It was much better than the first one, felt more like the games. It has Sonic doing his thing for the whole movie, so there's that. Now we got Sonic 3. Sonic 3 is even better than 2. This movie was great. I loved every minute of it. Let's get some positives out of the way here. The action sequences are great. This one has the best action sequences yet. They all feel big. They're visually stunning. Shadow is easily the best part of these action scenes. He is badass. He wrecks shit, and it is awesome. You definitely feel the intensity increasing here when Sonic overpowers the three. It is great. Every time it happens, I'm like, oh yeah, the excitement's here, motherfucker. I love that. And yes, all the visuals here are great as well. They really improve them compared to the first two. They really are getting their shit better and better with each movie. All of the acting, both actors and voice actors, are doing their greatest here. Ben Schwartz and Idris Elba, and I forget who the fuck voices Tails, but yeah, it's all great here. And the standouts here are easily Jim Carrey and Keanu Reeves. Jim Carrey especially, playing two roles. This is the funniest that Jim Carrey has ever been in these movies. I never thought I'd say that, but it definitely feels like Jim Carrey was saving all of his comedic energy for this one because, man, his performance here completely outshines his performances in the first two. And he was great in those first two films, so that's really saying some lot of great laugh out loud moments with Jim Carrey. And then there's Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is playing Shadow to perfection. He voices Shadow in the most Keanu Reeves fashion possible, but I absolutely loved it. He was perfect casting as Shadow. This movie seriously is just pure fun from start to finish. Not much to complain about with Sonic 3. The only issue I really kind of have with Sonic 3 is that the start of the second act does get just a bit too exposition-y. It's not nowhere near like the Operation Catfish stuff where like in the second one where it just completely stops the movie, but there's just times where I'm like, okay, you're kind of explaining a little too much here and like in a little bit too of an exposition-y style. Like I get it, you kind of needed it for Shadow's backstory, and Shadow's backstory is interesting. Don't get me wrong. It's just I think it was just a little too exposition-y here and there. They could have trimmed down the exposition just a bit. Just show us more of it, like show like the tragedy more. And I will say, during the serious moments, the movie does work. The only issue I have with Sonic 3 is just the exposition stuff. It just kind of gets laid on a little too thick. When it comes to the comedy moments, this movie nails it. And when it comes to serious moments, this movie does get pretty heavy. A lot more heavy than I was expecting it to get. It's not Pixar level or anything, but man, when it comes to like showing like the sadness and tragedy of Shadow, it really gets it done really well for the most part. This movie was a lot heavier than I was expecting it, I know. But this movie, when it needs to be silly, it gets the job done. This is definitely still a comedy first, like an action comedy. But yeah, there's just a few serious moments here where I'm like, damn, they really went hard with this one. I really appreciate it for that. So yeah, in the end, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was everything I was hoping for. It's a fun time, lots of good action, and lots of hilarious moments like I wanted. I am going to give Sonic the Hedgehog 3 an A.